Well, if you allow me, I think I will dissect the three major considerations that I have about.
Let's start with
Yeah.
one of them first so we can exhaust that before we go on a
So,
break.
from the point of view, of course, you can still refer that by last year, the Supreme Court came up with judgments that nullified the elections that were conducted in October of 2024, and that's because the Supreme Court said that the elections didn't follow through the processes. You understand? And what were one of the things that the Supreme Court frowned at? The major things that the Supreme Court frowned was the fact that the statutory 90 days was not followed, it wasn't adhered to. So as of today, that is the standard, that is the law. If you want to conduct local government election, you must give a time of time so that all the processes must be duly followed. So if we go by that and then you look at the timetable that RISEC has released, does it conform, to that decision of the court, which is the law as of today?
But what
That's
about
one
those that
thing.
argue that, well, the information for this election has been out with a different date before now, even before the old committee was disbanded. So if we run with
Well,
that and add this to that, it's beyond 90 days.
no, the truth is that you cannot disband or dissolve and then still continue to operate on the structures that they have set forth. A structure that should also, dissolve, because if for some reason the reason why they are dissolved is that they have been once, or they are properly constituted, or one thing that they have done does not come with. So you cannot cherry pick and just move the and then still continue to operate with the system that they had set in place. So by the time that research board was dissolved, of course every action that they are taking was equally dissolved. So truth of matters are today, the current research set a date that in conformity with the laws of Nigeria. And if you remember, I think yesterday, chairman meet the forum of a state electoral commission and that meeting, INEC chairman rightly stated that state, local election does not conform, that Supreme Court judgment and position is completely, non and void, and is standing in abeyance with law. Of course, that was just yesterday. But again, let's leave the point of law. Now, let us also look at the welfare of Rivers people, because that's what is very
All right.
important.
For the welfare of Rivers people, like I said, let's dwell with one first. We go on a break, come back, and then you continue with the welfare of Rivers people and others, and then we take some questions, because trust me, there are millions of questions already waiting for us on social media platforms across board, and would also take a few calls. So stay with us. The conversation will continue shortly. Now, let's go and take a very short commercial. Solomon Lenu, former spokesperson, River Civil Society Organizations, and you've gotten his view on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. We'll be taking your comments. Go there and let us know what your thoughts are, responding to the question we have up there for you. On YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. On X, Nigeria Info PH. Good morning. that Rivers State is for the president. 2027 is a vote or die trying. That's your message. This one says, good morning, Andrew. Okay, this one says, democracy only existed in Rivers State during Amechi's time as governor. This one, Anthony says, selection of party candidates is also a process during electioneering. Engineer Ewok says, illegality upon illegality equals illegality. It should not stand. Before elections, there's elections already. So going to the election ground that day is just a mere academic exercise. Victor Barry says, during the local government election for the suspended governor, you guys didn't report the same rumors. Well, if the rumors spread, we for report them. And when it did, the few times, it was well reported. I beg, make them come start campaign or Cyril Okonkwo. Okay. And just to make people understand, we're not saying that it is wrong for political parties to have anointed candidates or pick. The problem is whether at the political parties there will be internal democracy. Would everybody be given the fair opportunity to come out and let them be voted for by the, what do they call them now? In the political parties to who emerges as the candidates. The question many people have is, it doesn't look that way. It looks as though the powers that be in some of the political parties are just getting who they want. This is who will go. This is who will go. And everything else is just an academic exercise. Let me quickly get back to Solomon Lenu. Mr. Lenu, good morning again. So
good morning, Andy.
Yeah, so before we go to the phone lines and take questions, you were talking about the interest of Rivers people in all of this. Where is the place of Rivers people in all of this? Let's hear you.
Yeah, I was actually trying to, bring in the angle that concerns Rivers people and the angle that should be of utmost importance to, everybody in this process that we are talking about. So, of course, it has been established that some of the things or the actions, the reset going into this election definitely will not meet the standards stipulated by. Beyond that, we've been in this battle, trenches for a very long time now. And Rivers people, how have they actually fared with the fact that we don't have a substantive elected council chairman at the moment? Of course, if you do a census, you find out that Rivers people has not fared properly. And that is because we don't have a substantial or a substantive elected.
Shouldn't that be why everyone should support this process and allow this election work so that we can have elected people there and then we can then question what they do for development?
Of course, that's where I was actually going. And to even add to that, I believe that after fighting for a very long time, at some point we'll be able to call ourselves to order and look at, the pros and cons of the actions that we had taken, and then begin to, have a broader mind to get picture at the welfare of the people. In fact, leadership and politics should not always be about, what you get. At some point, you should do, away with your own personal interest and begin to make sacrifices, which is what, I think at this point, certain persons must do to ensure that Rivers State moves forward. As I am today, I am not, in support of the fact that laws are violated in trying to satisfy the whims and caprices of some persons. I am also not, against the fact that certain actions will see progress and development that Rivers State earnestly, needs at this moment, because we fought, for a very long time, and then look at where we are today as a state. People who are not even Rivers people are now in charge of the game of affairs and all of this. And so at some point, I think we should, call ourselves to order and say enough of this, rather than continue on this war of attrition and this battle of self-reductionism that we have engaged in for a very long time that has not benefited us. So I think at this point, whatever that is necessary to be done so that Rivers State can move forward should be done. I, at some point, was an interested party But if you listen to me this morning, I don't really care, if it has to be Mr. A, or Mr. B, or myself, or any other person, as it moves forward. But then, moving forward, we should also be able to recognize the fact that people are making progress in other places around us, and we have not. We should begin to think of how we can put our acts together and then strengthen our institutions, strengthen the democratic process so that we can actually have a system that will be less, challenged, in the future. But as for today, of course, going by what it is, I don't think that anything can change what has been set in motion, because, of course, the power that be, the interested, parties who are in charge of everything, the strong men had already, returned back to take back the structure and all of that. But I would advise Rivers people, at some point you have to stoop, to conquer, so that we can move forward for the sake of the state. I don't think there will be any need in this continuous battle, fighting and all of that, as we have been doing in the past 2 years now. Let us all come together and then take a little, relapse and look at, a way that we can, join forces together to move this state forward. It has been stagnant and dormant.
All right.
That's what I think, should be done at this point.
All right. Some messages now. Thank God Ability says APC and PDP have already selected who and who will be local government chairman. Putting it that way, you can say they have selected candidates. That's within their party's ability if they want to do it, how to do it. But it's still going to require people to come out and vote for the candidates that the political parties will be throwing up as options. Ida says, in the eyes of the law, the Solar Mission does not have rights to appoint RISEC chairman or conduct local government election because he came in under a state of emergency. He's here to settle the crisis and not conduct elections. We have our elected governor. But unfortunately, that like my guest is saying, this is what it is now. Yeah, so it's either you decide to look at how can we work with what we have, or you say you are going to continue crying about it. Not because it is wrong to air your thoughts. You are very much in line to air your views about this and what you think. But my guest has said at the end of the day, we should consider the well-being of Rivers people, regardless of who and who is going to come or emerge. Martins Kio says non-indigens coming to conduct elections in Rivers State. Chioma Kinsley says nobody will tell a party on how to do their primaries. Most important thing is for the party to have a candidate. RISEC is good to go. I believe them. Exactly. Nobody can tell a political party how to conduct their primaries. But what's very much more important is the democracy we preach starts from the political parties. Otherwise, from that level, you're already limiting the options people have with regards to who they want to vote for. This one says, Timothy Prince Orere, local government elections are no contest, it's selection. The election day is just a day of affirmation. Anybody contesting such election outside the party that is selected is just wasting their time and their funds. How long are we going to let the third tier of government suffer? It is usually selection. There's no point going out to vote. Yes, it is true. In my place in Iba, 60 years old man is selected by them, greedy people. But 2027 would tell when power change, then we will see. This is from Everything Nice, Owunda Kelvin. Comrade Clinton says they are simply the limiting regent in that reaction. Chris Okpomo says 20 APC, 3 PDP selection. This country, no hope. Okay, and it's even giving names for people that you think would emerge. Okay. Thank God, Barimana Nama says Ibas on 2027, zero confidence with emphasis. This is Eyimo Son saying he has zero confidence in the process. 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0003. As it stands, yes, my guest has said the process might be questionable. How we get there might be very questionable, but what we need is to have people that when they eventually get there would have the interest of Rivers State at heart, would first put the development of the state forward and the interest of its people first, even though we have questions about the process. Ida from Nkoro is on the line. We'll start with you. Let us know what you think. Good morning, Ida.
Good morning, my brother. I'm from Rivers State. Since 1999, I am playing politics. I've never seen and sole administrator conducting elections. You know, when they come out for emergency, for you to settle peace, now they will pick candidates. Now we only have Tony Koja is there talking and Labour Party chairman. I've never heard my party chairman PDP coming out to talk. Which party are we using to contest? They say primary is this Saturday. Then I'll go to my village this Saturday. And the time frame, election, you give 3 months for people to prepare election. Now the councillors who will sponsor them. That is, before you come out for election, you prepare for election. You just come out, you say October now. You say now 30th of August. How are we going to do now? Those of the world don't have money. You do tax clearance, you buy form and every other thing. How you go to contest election? So the time frame is too short. And the sole administrator does not have any right to conduct an election in Rivers State. And research chairman from another state, I've never seen it like that from Rivers State. So to please postpone this election. Thank you.
God's Power from Rumudara. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother Andrew.
Go on, God's Power.
I'm Eva God's Power. Andrew, I have a question for your guest this morning.
Go on.
Because even when you were telling him that the process has been on by the dissolved RISEC, and he was saying that it was wrong that the newly inaugurated RISEC should carry on with the process that has been on by the dissolved RISEC. I want to ask a question that in a university, exam is about to take place, and VC is removed, and all that, and the new VC appointed. Does it mean that the exam will be suspended because a new VC has been appointed? 2, October 5th, government election that took place at Supreme Court, nullified. Solomon Lenu was in support of that process. There was nothing near to the standard of conduct of an election. He was in support of that, and when it was nullified, and subsequent consequences was meted on the governor, he protested. The video was online. He protested that why would a state of emergency be declared? Solomon Lenu has been a person that has been supporting illegality and something that is not right, unconstitutional in the state. He that seeks equity must do so with a clean hand.
All right, God's Power. Thank you. Let's go to Robin in Eche quickly. Robin, good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Go on, Robin.
Greeting to our guest, Solomon Lenu. I'm not here to discuss the position of Solomon Lenu, but however, it's very unfortunate that one should speak from the two sides of his mouth. He cited the Supreme Court judgment, and he cited that there's need to live and obey the law. At the same time, he's saying we should avoid the law and accept the situation so that River State will move forward. My position now is, in life, darkness and light, there are two parallel ways that they will never meet. When the light appears, darkness will disappear. What President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did with his few friends in River State is against the Nigerian law, Nigerian constitution. Therefore, the outcome of what the school administrator is doing, that his name is not captured in our constitution, is illegal. And all the actions that is going to play out are all illegal and will remain illegal. No matter how powerful they use the court to suppress the people of River State, history will record so. That is my take. Good morning, Robin.
All right, Robin, thank you. In Elele, Emeka, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Emeka.
Yes, my name is Emeka, calling from Elele Alimini. My dear brother, regards to we having confidence in River State Electoral Commission, I personally, I have overconfidence on them. I was very surprised hearing from people on social media that RISEC does not have right to conduct local government election. If Amy, I want to ask you, do you know that according to Supreme Court judgment, that there was no government in River State that prompt bringing of state of emergency. And this reset that want to conduct this election, they were properly screened by the Senate. They were properly screened by the Senate. So anything that's coming from the National Assembly is authentic. It's not the sole administrator that is conducting election. As we had it from the legal luminary, Otijo Kocha. The people that conducting election is the RISEC, not the sole administrator. I don't know why Darlington Oju is coming on air to give false information. And he's a personal chairman, Emeka Beke. They are political traders. This election will go on. We need peace in River State.
All right.
Are they enemy of River State? Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, thank you, Emeka. Lloyd from OGRA, good morning. Oh, unfortunately, we lost the call from Lloyd. Leighton Barry, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Nifemi Andrew.
All right, quickly, please.
Good morning to my brother in the studio, Lenu.
Good morning.
The only challenge I have, I've listened to my brother Kenley, but the problem I have is that there is one skill we have here in River State and Nigeria. We always like, elongating issues that needed not. I think before now, the past present research chairman announced the dates for this local government election. I want to ask, is it that if anybody emerge again as the chairman of research, we will reschedule another date again? Please, I think this matter has been overtaken by an event. And we have to structure ourselves, plan ourselves based on the announcement, the early announcement that was given, so that we will not be able to beat around the bush. Look at political parties are ready. They have planned already. By Saturday, primaries will be conducted. People are here complaining, going back instead of going front. Please, my brother, learn how to follow information in time so that you will not go back and misinform people. I just want to end there. Thank you and good morning.
All right, let's hear from Muriel. We'll come to my guest shortly. Muriel and Mufasa on the line, and then we'll go back to Mr. Lenu. Muriel, good morning.
Thank you, Ifemi. Good morning.
Yep, go on.
Woman. Ifemi, as a legitimate daughter of River State, I am calling on both the president and the National Assembly not to conduct this election, to wait until our governor comes back. Please, they should not conduct this election. Someone is telling me that it's the National Assembly that is doing that we want to conduct an election in an emergency situation where there's emergency and they are doing something wrong. You think it's right? You think it's right to do this? Because it's the National Assembly, we should all clap our hands. Because it's the president, we should all clap our hands and accept it just because it's them. You're telling me the governor is conducting, is the administration that is doing it, that will be in charge. So I pray that they should not. Please, they should not. And as all political parties, I want to ask again, as all political parties, all of them, did they do their normal primaries to select their candidates? Did they do their normal party primaries before they brought up any candidate that they submitted to the National Assembly? I just want to find out, did they go through a normal primary as it's supposed to be? But please, they should not. If they have any conscience in them. Thank you.
All right, Muriel, and then Mufasa from NTA Road, quickly, please.
Yeah, good morning. I want to say that there is no way I will have confidence in a system that is built on a faulty foundation. Whatever is happening currently in River State for me is undemocratic, and if we're having a system like that, then they're telling us today that we shouldn't have any kind of trust in a system that is brought in by what people. Now we're making references to retired Justice Lebeli's time as research chairman. The question I want to ask, what was the offense of a man who was duly screened by the authentic River State House of Assembly and his tenure has not elapsed? The Solar Administrator came, dissolved that commission, they set up a new one, and we are still making references to his own arrangement. What was his offense? So there is no way we have confidence in that, not until we have a true democratic system in River State. Anything they are doing today is faulty and it's a progression in error.
All right, Mufasa.
That'd be fantastic.
Thank you. Mr. Lenu, under 3 minutes, let's get your response. So a lot of people have said a few things, especially about the timetable and the dissolved committee and the one we have now. So what do you say to it?
Well, I think people understanding is very important, and some people don't seem to understand how law works. Because if you look at the pronouncement, the pronouncement of the Supreme Court on the 28th of February that marked the past local government administration, stated that there is no governance in Rivers State, and if we go by that, then there is no way you can say that you are continuing from when Nembele stopped, because in the eyes of the law, by that interpretation, Nembele never existed, and never did anything legally. And I think it is also in that line that if you look at the current timetable as released by RISIED, you see the timetable begins from the 28th day of July. It did not revert to the previous day that the timetable that Nembele, set out started. It's actually started from the 28th and spiraled down to the 30th of August, I beg your pardon. So the issue of people trying to be smart, by saying that there was a timetable already and they are just standing on that, I think that's null and void and not strong enough to stand. And there's something I also want to tell those who are being very emotional. I think as much as I would like to be an idealist, at this point in time, I think it will serve us all better to be more realistic than trying to be idealist, because, of course, the CIN has shown that idealism at this point in this country will not work and has never worked, and there is no intention to make, things work ideally as they should. We've seen, the Supreme Court, reneging on their responsibility within the judiciary. We've seen we've seen the executive. So, continuing in this will be more or less like, crying over fuel. It's Albert Einstein that says, that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity, and we are not insane. At some point, we should be able to look at the reality of the times, and tell ourselves the truth. And the reality of today is the fact that there are certain interests that want to, plant a local government executive across the state, and they have come with all the machineries, and there's nothing we can do about it. And if the welfare of Rivers State is important to us, at this point, I maintain that we should shield our sword.
All right.
And then do, everything is well. Rivers State,
okay, Mr. Lenu.
No matter how you look at it, people are going to court.
Mr. Lenu, that's how much we can take. Thank you very much. We have to wrap it up here. It's been great talking to you this morning. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, Ifeami, for having me.
All right. Hello, Potako comes in with Jude. My name is Ifeami Andrew. Good morning.
One day now, one day.